I look around and I realize we are missing a lot of soul in the content that we create and consume, not just on YouTube, but I mean as a whole. It doesn't just mean videos. When I mean content, I mean like when we create anything, it just feels like there's a lack of like that passion and drive that really used to push us to create the best things that we could create, you know? Now everything's driven by a monetary, um, it's driven by a monetary, drive. It's a monetary gain, we're all driven by money. And that's fine, because obviously money's important. But I feel like we've lost the reason that money came into the picture in the first place. When YouTube first started coming around, I'm going to use YouTube as the example because, I'm pretty disappointed with YouTube lately. Not the not the site itself at this point. I just mean, I'm pretty disappointed with the lack of creativity I've been noticing. And it's not really anyone's fault per se, because we all consume different forms of media. Not everything is going to be my cup of tea. But I'm sure you all have noticed that there's been a certain lack of heart in the stuff that we create and consume lately. There's been a lack of drive to innovate. There's been a lack of thought put into what is being created. And that's not necessarily anyone's fault, not any one person per se, because we have created a society in which we are driven by monetary values, monetary compensation, which is fair because everyone should be compensated for their work. But what happens is you end up getting like boxed into like a niche. You find something that works, and that's great. It works. You're getting paid. It pays the bills. Awesome. But then what happens is you don't feel the need to innovate, and even if you do, sometimes you're very harshly punished for it. It's very demotivating when you make a video that you probably had the most fun with out of all the videos that you're making, that you put a lot of time and effort into, and it just gets destroyed. Like, it's destroyed by the algorithm. And this isn't about any of my videos in particular. I'm not really too worried about my numbers at the moment, but the the fact of the matter is, our world is now designed to crush creativity. I mean, it's been like that, but we've kind of really let it sink in to the lack of creativity now. And I know you might be thinking, oh, well, how would you know if it's like, trust me, you can really see in the videos and stuff that are created, the movies, even the brands. We are moving away from crazy creative innovative things, where we're dialing back on colors, where we are dialing back on all of the things that used to make our platforms great. Like, we used to, not just our platforms, we used to love all the brands that we loved because they were fun, they were spontaneous. They made us feel good inside, but now we've all grown up and it's all just like a corporate cash grab. Let's take cereal for instance, right? When you're a kid, back in the 2000s and the 90s, I wasn't around for the 90s, so I was born in 2001, but back in the 2000s, there were kids would get toys in their cereal, and in the 90s too, but this is just my experience. Kids would get toys in their cereal, and it was the coolest thing. If you walked into that store like Walmart or like ShopRite or wherever, Kroger, well, that wasn't around. I don't know if it was around by then. I think it was. But if you went into any of those stores and saw like that cool little box of Fruit Loops that had that Star Wars spoon in it, I think it was Fruit Loops, probably Apple Jacks actually. But you know, you saw something that had a toy of something that you really liked, you begged your parents to get it for you. And that's how companies used to market. They used to market it towards kids. That's what cereal, the sugary cereals especially, were heavily marketed towards. Because, you know, kids are the easiest audience to grab. But now we've gotten to a point where we don't need to do all that creative stuff anymore. We just need to tell them that they need the product. And how do they do that? They get all these creators, these influencers, these big media folks, or whoever the hell they get now. They make them promote the products, they pay for these sponsorships, and the advertising, it just feels so much more soulless. Ooh, that was way too close. So everything has fallen off. We've lost the heart and soul of what made society great. And I if you're like me, it's pretty boring seeing everything just so dullified or dumbed down, you know. I'm a very creative type person, and seeing all the lack of creativity drives me nuts. I feel like we're just all living in a copy paste world right now where everyone has the same opinions but also don't. It's weird. That's a whole nother topic for another video. But I feel like we need to bring back the creativity that we have all lost. And you might be thinking, hey, how do we get creative? You know, you just gotta feel something in you and have that desire to create it. You know, you have to think of something and just create it. Like, don't give it any second thought, like, oh, it needs to be perfect like this. Like, the most creative things are sometimes the things that are the most simple, the you don't have to think about it too much type stuff. That's the stuff that usually goes viral. That's like with any video you'll see on TikTok or something. It's usually like one of the most low effort things. But being creative doesn't mean being low effort. It just means you don't have to make it too complicated. Don't make it too complicated. Complication kills creativity. And you would think with the short form content, I've seen some pretty creative short form videos before in my time. I've seen some pretty creative long form videos. I've seen lots of things that could really be good if they were just given more time and effort. But we are in a spot where we just feel complacent with how things are, with what we post, with what we make, and there's no need to create something new because, you know, you get punished. But let's not worry about the punishment anymore. Let's take a step back. Let's look at what we can do to bring back the magic into our lives, not just for our sake. Um, we have future generations. We have kids right now who are growing up and unable to express themselves because it's deemed, you know, weird and you know, that's been through society. But with the rise of social media to the prevalency in which it is at now, we have no other choice but to, you know, dance around our innermost desires. That's why we don't have video creators like iDubbbz anymore, or like Filthy Frank, you know. They made edgy jokes, but they were creative. And if you look at even Minecraft YouTubers, you know, they used to be really creative and fully personified people, like who actually seemed like real people who seemed like they enjoyed themselves, who had fun doing the things that they loved. But now everything's just become, you do things to make money, and if it doesn't make you money, it's not worth it. Sometimes you just want to sit back, grab yourself a notebook, and draw yourself like a little, draw yourself whatever. You just want to draw. And we lack people who want to draw. So if you want to help push YouTube or society or whatever into being the best, if you want to push for a better tomorrow, more creativity, then pick up the pen, get into your feels and draw. Create the most modern art masterpiece that you can think of. Even if everything is subjective, and this whole video is like a subjective opinions based on objective facts. Even if you don't feel like you can be creative, you can. Everyone has the ability to be creative. That's the world we live in. That's who we are as a society. So pick up the pen and let your heart out. With that being said, I'm gonna peace out on you guys. Appreciate you guys watching this. If you liked the video, please like it. Subscribe if you're new around here. And comment creative so I know you made it this far. And that's gonna do it. Peace, broskies. See ya.